We're just waiting a few minutes. We know that it is the end of the month, and a lot of people are putting up fires and working and showing homes and everything. So we also want to be respectful of Gary's time. Gary is currently in San Diego, so he interrupted his vacations to be with us here. So I thank you, Gary. Thank you, all of you ladies, for joining us. Gary, what do you have for us today?
This is going to be the final phase of what we've been talking about, and this is about overcoming adversity and changing our mindset to get past those no's, to get past that rejection, to get to the success that we want to see.
Excellent. So excited. Ladies, you can mute yourself. I'm actually unmuting you if you would like to introduce yourself and say hi.
Hi everyone, I'm Joanna Castillo. I'm real estate agent with Omni Homes International, and thank you so much for the invitation.
Thank you, Joanna. Who else is over here?
Hi, I'm Susie, and I'm in Colorado.
Hi, Susie. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you for the invite also.
Hi, my name is Katia. We're at lunch.
Nice.
Oh, good morning, Katia.
Beautiful daughter.
Thank you. We were working in the morning and we stopped by to get a quick bite. Enjoyed it.
Nice.
Thank you.
Oh, Mary said, yes, my microphone isn't working today, but I'm here. We're very glad that you're joining us, Mary.
Hi, Mary.
Who else is over here? Let's see. Let's see. And no, Adriana joined us right now, but maybe she got disconnected. So we'll wait a little more, or should we just start the presentation?
I think we should
We want to be respectful of your time because I know that you have to, you're leaving at 11, correct?
Yeah, I have to check out of the hotel at 11.
Nice.
So since you're recording it, the folks can come back in and listen to this. So I think be respectful of other people's time as well that we're able to get on.
Well, these are all the disclosures that that you signed throughout this whole process. So we'll just have you sign the date. You just.
Hi, Christian. Hi, Adriana. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. I'm happy to be here.
Hi, Adriana.
Are we ready?
There. Hi, Gary.
Let's see. Okay, to be respectful of everyone's time, we're going to start the presentation. And again, thank you, Gary. We know that you're interrupting your vacations to be able to be with us, to share your information. Thank you, all of you ladies, for coming over and joining us in this event. It is the third one out of the series that Gary created just for us to be able to grow and then do better. And wonderful. Thank you, Mary. So again, thank you so much, Gary, for this time that you're providing us. Thank you, all of you ladies, for joining us. We're so thankful, just to be able to have this opportunity with him. So, Gary, I am going to pass the stage over to you. And if there's anything, let me know. And ladies, if you didn't receive the materials, make a comment so I can email you really fast, and you can go through the training with us at the same pace, and we don't miss anybody.
So I can share the screen now. Okay, great. Let me Okay, so thank you for allowing me to speak, Christian. I know that your time is valuable. It's the end of the month, and I know you're all rushing to get things closed and get things happening. And I know Christian was putting out a fire yesterday. She had her fire hose out and getting kind of crazy. So today, though, is going to be the third piece of the puzzle for success. If you were on the first speaking engagement I had, it was about the science of business, which is getting a plan, working on those activities that matter most. It was more the mechanics and processes plus a little mindset. The second thing we discussed, the second time I spoke, it was about the art of business. And the art of business is about who you are as a person, who you become, so that people want to work with you, they want to follow you, they want to have you in their circle. So that was a very important part, because if we're attracting people, we're going to bring people in our circle, we're going to get more referrals, we're going to get more business, and that's all about who you are as a person. Today is about overcoming adversity. And no one likes to have adversity. No one likes to hear the word no. I know when we're kids, we don't care. We're at the grocery store with our mom when we're little and we want a cookie. We will not give up on that cookie no matter how many times we say no. But when we become adults, all of a sudden no becomes a bad word, because we see that as rejection. We see that as failure. And that's what we're going to talk about today, is to have the mindset to create success and overcome those no's to get to the yeses. So today's question is, why is it so important to go for no? If you look at statistics, you have to ask someone 3 to 5 times before you're going to get a yes on a sale. So it may not be the right time for those people to buy a home or get a loan, but if you continue to stay in contact with them, if you continue to touch bases with them, at some point, you're going to hear the word yes. But we have to keep on calling, keep on touching people in order to get that. That's why it's so important to go for those no's, because every no we get, we're closer to yes. Every no we get, we're practicing our presentation, we're practicing our close, we're practicing building relationships on the phone in a quick manner. So it's very important to go for those no's. And here's why it's important too. When you change your mindset, you change your outcome, you change your results. So if your mindset is to avoid failure, to avoid the no's, then you're going to be stifled in your success. You have to change your mindset for that to be something that you're interested in moving forward with, that it doesn't stop you. You just keep going around it, keep going through it. So yes is our destination, but no is how we get there. If you think about it, this is how most people see failure. We see ourselves in the middle and success on one side and failure on the other side, because we're trying to avoid failure. This is a real problem, because failure is our learning process. Failure is how we continue to move and grow and overcome those failures in order to get to success. In fact, when we have failures and we have this as our model for success, when that is our model, what happens is, let me admit this person, when we have this as our success model, when a failure comes up, we turn around, we think it's a stop sign, we flip a U-turn and we try to avoid that failure. That is the wrong thing to do. Learn from the failure, go through the failure on your way to success. And a little later on, I'm going to show you the model that we should be looking at. For some reason, this is not moving. I think I froze up. I froze up there for a second, so I'm going to go back in. Hang on 1 second, ladies. Okay, so I'm going to talk about some commonly used statistics, some easy things for us to look at on why we want to go for those no's. So let's just say that we make 10 phone calls and we get 1 yes, 1 appointment, 1 loan, 1 sale, 1 listing. What happens is, in order to get 2 sales, if that is your goal, then we got to make 20 calls. We got to touch 20 people. And so what does that mean? That means we got to get 18 no's. So most people, when they hit those first 2 yeses, they say, oh my gosh, I've reached my goal. And they stop calling, they quit. And that is the wrong thing to do, because what happens is tomorrow you've got to make 18 calls that you did not make. And then you have to make the 20 calls that you normally make daily in order to get those 2 yeses. So when we go for no's, when you continue to go for no, what happens is what I mentioned earlier. You're practicing your presentation. You're working on your close. You're working on your rapport with those people, building it quickly. What happens is we become better at what we do, and we're going to get more yeses because of it. Instead of 2, we might get 3, we might get 4 as we practice and practice and practice. So you got to keep going for those no's to get into practice. Don't relax. Keep moving forward. So what if your success was determined by how often you fail? That is what it's determined by. Every successful person in the world has failed way more than we have. We have to go through that failure in order to reach success. And so, you know, if you have those 18 no's before you get to 2 yeses, that means that you practiced and you went through failure after failure, rejection after rejection, no after no, to the point where you got those yeses. What happens is you became better, you became more effective, more efficient, and that's going to actually end up being more yeses in your life. What if instead of counting yeses, you counted no's? This is what I've been talking about each slide, is instead of your goal being how many yeses you get, make your goal the no's. Make sure you make all the calls you need to make. Make sure you make all the contacts you need to make, because when you do, again, you become more effective, more efficient, better at what you say, better at what you do, and better with who you are in order to get more yeses. Because then you will get, this won't be an accident. Down at the bottom it says maybe then you might accidentally get more yeses. You will get more yeses. The more we practice, the better we become, the more yeses we get in the same time frame we had before. This is the success model that will create massive success for you. If you notice, you are on the far side. That would be the me. When we go through failure, that is nothing more than a stepping stone to success. That is the halfway point to success. The more failures those who have had great success have had a huge amount of failures. They just didn't allow it to stop them. It didn't deter them. It didn't disappoint them. It didn't depress them. They just kept moving forward to create more and more success as they went along. So in your mind, picture this as your success model. Failure is between you and success. We have to go through it. We have to go around it. We have to go over it, but you're going to have to hit it head on in order to do it. In fact, this slide tells you that. Failing is the halfway mark on the road to success. In order to have greater success, we need to fail faster. The more failures we have and the faster we have them, the faster we get to the success we desire. If you make your goals smaller so that you don't have to fail as many times, and you want 1 listing or 1 sale instead of 2, then maybe you have to make 10 calls. That's not the way to do it. I would double it. Instead of making 20 calls to get 2, I'd do 40 calls to get 4. The faster we fail, the faster we go through those failures, the quicker we reach that destination of yes and success for what we're trying to accomplish. We don't have to repeat after me. You're all on mute. But if you remember back in our days, sticks and stones may break our bones. I like to fail. I fail big. I fail often. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but no can never hurt me. That's only 2 letters, everyone. It will never hurt you. This is our road to success. This is the way we get where we want to go. So if you start to have the mindset where you don't mind failing, when you don't mind hearing no, that's when we start having more and more success, when it doesn't bother you. It's just part of the game. No just means next call. When you hear a no, next call. When you hear a no, that's all it means is try again. We can't let it deter us. So there's 5 levels of failure. And level 1 is where most people stay. And that's everyone on the call, everyone in the world has the ability to fail. We all can do it. We all have it happen. The question is, what happens from that point? Only 80% of the people out there will go past this point because they don't like to fail. They avoid failure at any cost, as opposed to learning from it, growing from it, and moving forward. So most people never pass this first level. Level 2 is the willingness to fail. This means that you accept failure as a natural byproduct of seeking success. You can read that for yourself right there, but that means that we're just okay with it. But those 20% that reach this level, most of them go back because they can't take the no's. They go, oh my God, this isn't fun. I don't like this. So most people might hit this level, that 20%, but about 15% of the people fall back to that first level where they are trying to avoid failure. And then this is the next level, level 3. This means you want to fail. And I know that sounds crazy, but if you're pushing hard enough, if your goals are big enough, you're going to have failures. If your goals are below what you can actually do, if your expectations are low, then you're not going to have that. You got to want to go through those no's. You have to go through those contacts in order to get to this level where you want to fail. This means you develop a desire to fail with the inner faith that personal and financial growth will follow. And that's exactly what happens. When we want to fail and we are going for those no's, what happens is we do have personal growth, we do have financial growth, and we will have success. And if you notice at the bottom there, fewer than 5% of all people ever get to this level. If you look at the financial statistics of the United States, there's a top 5% for a reason. There's a top 10% for a reason. These people know that failing is part of the process to success. They want it, they go after it even in bigger ways. So I mentioned earlier, failing faster. If you want to hit big goals, set big goals, fail bigger, fail faster, because this is the next level, level 4. This is when you come to the conclusion that if failing is good, then failing bigger and better is even better for you, which is so true. When we come to that conclusion and we go, oh my gosh, this is the secret. We can push right through this and go to success. That means that this is where we want to go. Level 5, failing exponentially. So this is for those of you who can recruit people to work for you. If you have assistants, if you have a team, this is the final level of success. And if you realize that failing personally is good, then when you fail as a group, you understand that that's massive success. That requires multiplication of effort. That means instead of failing as an individual, we fail as a group. That means we recruit others to do the same thing we're doing to create more success for the team, for the group. So what are most people afraid of? You can see it on your screen: rejection and failure. Without the existence of rejection and failure, there is no success, because that means we didn't push hard enough. We didn't get to success. We didn't go through the no's. We didn't go through the 4 failures. We didn't grow as a person in order to get there. And here's what I'm trying to say in a nutshell. You're only 2 letters away from greatness. You're only 2 letters away from success. And that's N-O. You got to get over that. It is not personal. It's not against you. It just may not be the right time for that person to buy a home, to list a home, to get a loan, to refi, whatever it happens to be, whatever business you're in, you have to be there until they're ready to go. And then you have to go through those no's to get there. A lot of people end their hot streak. And what I mean by this, it's a sports analogy, but hopefully we'll get one. In baseball, when someone gets up the bat and all of a sudden they get a hit, then another hit, then another hit, they're 3 for 3 on their hits. You don't take people out when they're hot. when you're making calls and you get those 2 yeses right up front or 3 yeses right up front, why would you quit when you're on a hot streak, when you're on a roll? That's one thing that most people do, is they quit when they're on a hot streak, and they should just be pushing forward. The science of setting no goals is where we want to go. And this is option A. You saw this up front in the little scenario, and that is option A would be to, make those 20 calls to get those 2 yeses. And if you want to push a little further, option B is to not just settle for the 2, push a little further. What if you just made a couple more calls, play it safe, and make 20 calls, get 20 no's. 20 no's instead of just the 18. Now you're going to have a little bit more success. And option 3, whatever amount of success you want, multiply it 1 times 1.3 or 1.4. That's 130%, 140%. So if you want more sales, increase the number of calls you make in order to create that success. These are some names that most of you will probably recognize. Benjamin Franklin got the most no's that I can ever hear of. A reporter came up to him and asked him, how did it feel to fail 10,000 times when you were trying to make the light bulb? Benjamin Franklin said, I didn't fail. I found 10,000 ways that didn't work. What he did was, after that, he hired a bunch more scientists to fail exponentially. They failed thousands and thousands of more times until they were able to create the light bulb. R.H. Macy, he started the Macy department store chain. He failed 7 times before he really launched it, and it took. But after it did, it's a nationwide department store chain. Harlan Sanders is on this list. That's Colonel Sanders from Kentucky Fried Chicken. He retired at the age of 65, realized that he couldn't retire on the money of his retirement, so he went out to sell his recipe for fried chicken. He had 2 years of no's. People didn't do it. So by the time he was 67, he got his first yes. And today, he's got a national chain of Kentucky Fried Chicken stores. And the last one on this list is Babe Ruth. In baseball, Babe Ruth had the most home runs in history, 714. Babe Ruth also, that was a record. He also had the most strikeouts, 1,330. But no one remembers the failures of any of these people. No one remembers any of those no's that they received. They only remember the records that they set, and the department store chain or the Kentucky Fried Chicken chain. Those are the important things for us to remember. This is an example of what happens to most of us. Some scientists in Canada did an experiment with a fish called a pike. It's a real ravenous fish. It eats other fish. They put this pike in a fish tank, and it had a glass divider. And they put minnows on the other side of the glass divider, which was its favorite meal. This pike would run into this glass divider over and over and over again to the point where he gave up. And he stayed on his side. They removed the glass divider, and this fish stayed on its side because it got comfortable with the rejection, with the nose, to that it was only inches away from food, but it didn't go after it. Don't let that be you. No doesn't mean no forever. It means no, not now. So just go to the next person. So the faster we fail, the faster you're going to reach success. That's something I hope you will remember in this discussion is the faster we make those calls, the faster we get those appointments, the faster we get those listings, the faster we get those loans. So fail fast, get to success faster. And this was, I mentioned to Christian that this was a shorter version of this, and I'm going to escape from this. I'm going to stop sharing my screen here for a second because I want to point something out to you. This is the Go for No book. It's only, look how thin it is. It's only 74 pages. This book is what this training is based on. In fact, I coach a young lady that has a team of real estate agents, and I gave her my training to this, and she put together what you just saw. It was a collaborative effort of Tina Valiant and myself, and she used this with her team. She did Go for No training with her team, and she not only doubled her business, she tripled her business, then quadrupled her business as a team by going over this mindset shift with her team. They adopted it, and she rewarded them on a weekly basis for who got the most no's. And the person who got the most no's also was the top producer. So just a tidbit of information. This is something on a mindset shift that will change your business if you allow it to, if you shift to it. And if you have a team, if you have them train with this or read this book and put that concept into place, then you'll have great success with it. And I know this was a much shorter presentation. The other ones were more of a keynote speech and than a discussion, but I'm going to turn this back over to Christian to see if anyone has any questions. Adriana, did you have a question?
Oh, hi. No,
Hi.
I wrote down right here, fail fast equals success fast.
That's exactly right.
I'm going to go through and do all my phone calls. I know follow-up is one of the hardest things, but I think if we train our brains, like you're saying, the more no's equals more yes, I guess, even more yeses, because they don't want to buy right now, but maybe they'll want to buy in the future.
Yeah, we have to keep in touch with them. So just by touching them, in the first talk that I gave, I talked about the fact that most people, they give up too easily. You just have to keep at it. And when you do it consistently and it becomes a habit, like you walk into the office and the first thing you do is make calls, whatever it happens to be, you make calls, whatever. All of a sudden, you don't care. You don't worry about it. You just do it. And when you just do it, that's when you have success at it. And that's when you don't worry about it. That's when it doesn't affect you anymore.
I'll tell you the story.
Yeah.
I went to go look at cars. It's probably been over a year now. And I told the sales guy no. And he consistently calls me till this day, probably like every month and a half. And I always tell him no, but I still answer the phone because eventually in the future, I told him if I had enough money, I would buy one of those cars.
But see, most people, Adriana, think like you think. They will at some point, no matter who it is, they're ready to buy at some point. Yeah. So that's why we have to keep up with it. But your cell's different in corporate America. If you call on someone, it takes 5 to 7 times for them to say yes. Even if they need what you have, sometimes they won't say yes. They just want to see how persistent you are. They want to see if you really want the sale. Can they trust you? You have to build up that trust with them. So
yep. I totally trust this guy. And I mean, we have little short conversations when he calls me and I tell him, hey, you know what? Right now is not the time. But, I end up talking to him because he's such a nice guy. And I always tell him no. And he's very respectful. And he just says, okay, I'll talk to you next. It's almost a game now. He's like, I'll call you back in a month. I say, okay. But eventually one day I'll buy from him, or I know maybe a friend, I could refer a friend to him because he's just so nice.
What you just said is huge. You refer a friend to him. So that's what we want as real estate agents, loan officers. We want someone to refer people to us. And when you follow up and you're respectful, instead of being a mosquito, you're a butterfly.
Yeah.
So, he's just touching you each month. Hey, how you doing? Just if you're ready. It's perfect.
Yeah. He's
And
great.
no is not forever. No is just not now.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you, Gary.
Yes, ma'am.
Something that I can say that I personally struggle with is that, like with, when I'm talking to clients, I mean, I basically make it, that we're doing this, like we both agree that you are doing the application. So I don't have people like most of the times telling me no. So but that's how I manage myself with clients. Now when I am trying to approach real estate agents, I'm a little more shy, and I know, I have the knowledge, I have the experience, and sometimes, like I know how to sell myself. But I think that that is something personal that I have, is that I have my group of people that I share my successes and that I work with. But when I am going to reach out, I try to avoid cold calls. So it's mostly referrals, right, between my partners. But maybe if I were just to pick up the phone and then call more ladies or call more agents, and I would probably get more no's, like no, I already have somebody, no, or something, right? But I just don't do it. So I know that this training made me allocate what you just said to how I'm going to use it. And at the end of the day, I mean, it might not be the right time, right? But I am known for saving deals. So maybe if one day they don't have they have a deal that is falling apart or something, I can be the saver.
Well, if you think about it, Christian, loan officers, I know so many loan officers where the real estate agent stops working with them because they didn't follow up, they didn't do the deal. So what you're doing by not calling people is you're that pike in the fish tank. You're not going outside. There's opportunities over here. There's minnows over here for you to eat. However, you're staying in your side of the fish tank. You got to expand. Got to expand to have more success.
Yes, and I do have a lot of deals coming in. I have a lot of referrals, and I don't do a lot of cold calls, but I know that if I was to open up myself, I was to get loaded like more, and then I guess that's something that I'm like, okay, I need to make a plan. How am I going to manage that?
Well, that's when you expand your team so that you become the rainmaker and they take care of all the process of it. So you can expand your business by expanding your team of people who actually take care of everything for you. So there's always ways to do that. Don't let that pigeonhole you for your income, because your income can only get so big with just you. If you want to expand it, what we have to do is go outside of our comfort zone and make those calls. But then when we get to a size where we need the help so that we can still be effective for our customers, we can actually expand our team.
And we can make it rain.
Yes.
I do know that. Yes, I do know that there are some ladies that are actually present that recently started a team. Let me see who's here. Joanna, are you there?
I'm here.
Joanna, I would like to ask you if you could share your story with us, so you can, like, how did it start? Because I know that you
Yeah.
recently started.
Yeah.
Very successful.
Definitely. I'll share a little bit about me. My name is Joanna Castillo. I've been an agent now. It's going on 4 years. And thank God, my career took off very well. My first year in real estate, I closed 18 transactions. My second, I did about 36. And then last year, I was to a point where Gary's right. You can't do it by yourself. I was overwhelmed. Have been able to start a very good foundation on my business to where I work 90% referrals. And it got to a point to where I could not find a balance in my life. I was working 24/7, starting at 6 a.m. in the morning till 11 at night. And, it was very good financially, but it was very hard on my family, my kids, my personal life. I could say I had no life. So when this year started and the COVID happened, I decided to start my own team because I came to a realization that I was burnt out. There was no way I could get where I wanted to be by doing it on my own. So I started my real estate team. We're Arizona Real Estate Partners based out of Tucson. And we have 4 agents and myself. And Gary's completely right. Like, I partner with agents that have my same values and truly care about people, because I believe in this business, you have to care for your client and put their needs before our own. Like, I don't even think about the commission. I make sure that I meet my clients' needs. And then if you start your business that way, you don't have to worry about where your next client is coming from. And I do a lot of referrals and past clients. But starting a business has definitely changed my life and has given me a little more free time to be with my families, but still provide the same amount of the level of service you want to provide to your clients is huge. So an advice that I would give: partner yourself with people that are like-minded like you. Surround yourself with people that want to see you grow, and it makes a huge difference in the relationships that we build together. Christian and I actually met because she was representing the buyer of one of my listings, and I was just my listing was from an investor. Anyways, we needed 2 appraisals, and he didn't want to pay for it, so Christian took on that fee in order for her client to close. And to me, that I'm like, not a lot of people do that, but she went above and beyond her area to make sure that this client got her home. So we met after, and it turns out she's helped a couple of my friends. But after I met with her, I know that she has the same values. So I send her a lot of business. We work very well together. We have accomplished amazing things together. But it's just surround yourself with people that are like-minded, and it
That's
makes a
actually,
huge difference in the way you run your business.
that's great advice, because your team, which would include your loan officer and all the different people
Yeah.
that work with you, are a reflection of you. And so you want to make sure that your values come out wherever they are. And
Yes.
integrity, being a servant leader, a servant to others, those are very important qualities. In fact, the lady that I mentioned, who I'm a business coach to, when she built her team, last year, she did 125 transactions as a team. It's not that big of a team. So it's pretty incredible what you can do when you multiply those failures, when you multiply those no's, when you have those same values and you all work together in the same way.
Yes, definitely.
I actually like to ask Susie. I know that she's joining us out of state. And I would like to ask her, because basically we're in Arizona, right? And we're living it, and we're living the market, and we know how it is. But sometimes I believe that it's good to compare ourselves to maybe other people's reality, so we can grow and we can open up. And especially in this tough market, like I can tell you, I have so many clients shopping right now, and like a lot of them are not finding properties. It's a very tough market, and I guess it's go for the no, right? Like I have clients that we run scenarios, and then they're just going and they are putting offers in many properties, like one after another one, because they're being declined, but they need a house, and we need them to get them into a house. So I mean, that has to do a lot of with the real estate agent too, because if you think about it, and I have heard that within the time that I've been in business, there are certain agents that don't like to work with those type of clients, right? Like they're like, oh, you know what? Like I'm not gonna put in the work anymore, or they just move on, and then those clients come over to us, and then we like sometimes they're sad, and we have to be the ones, the motivators. We have to be the one like encourage them to continue, and please them for the business. Hi, Jenny.
Hi, hi, Christian. I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm driving and I wanted to erase myself and I couldn't. But with that being said, let me say hi to everybody. And Gary, my name is Jenny Honig, and I am one of Joanna Castillo's member of our proud team.
Nice. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. And I will just like to add a little bit of what Joanna said about our team and the relationship that we have established with Christian. It's there's a little bit of a story behind it. I got involved with these very enthusiastic young women with so they sold me. And I was working as a sales associate for a builder, and with their enthusiasm and their way of working and opening doors of people that thought that they could never accomplish their dreams is what motivated me to follow their lead and a member of this team that follows, like Joanna stated, the same values and the same dreams, not only for ourselves, but for the people that we are able to help out. So I'm very happy that Christian is organizing this with your help, because this is something that helps us all in the profession that we chose to be, and obviously to be the best we can on a daily basis. So thank you so much.
My pleasure. And Christian recorded the first two segments for anyone that didn't hear them. I'm sure she'll share that with you. So those were a little more in depth. This was obviously a short training, but this is a short training because it's a short subject. So but this is a subject that most people try to avoid.
Does anybody has any questions, anything that you would like to share with Gary? Let's see.
Gary, I don't have any questions, but I want to thank you for taking the time to put this together and and helping us become better and giving us, sharing with us what has helped with your coaching with other agents. I really appreciate you taking the time.
It's my pleasure. And Christian did send out this this training thing that had those blank spaces that people could fill out. So if you didn't get it, ask her for it, and then you can fill in the blanks so that you'll have it as a training, and perhaps even use it within your own groups so that you can do that. So
Yes, 100%. Okay, so we're wrapping up the meeting, ladies. Gary has to check out of his hotel in San Diego. Thank you so much, Gary, for allowing us to hear your message, to learn from you. Thank you, all of you ladies, for joining. And stay tuned. I have plans for the group to bring value, and there are other things that are going to be happening. So if there's anything that we can do to help you, don't hesitate on reaching out. And then I will share that email again with the information that you just presented to us, so we all can have it. And then just wait for the recording. I should be able to share it very soon.
Thank you.
bye, ladies. Have a great day.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Safe travels, Gary.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Susie.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joanna. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Samantha.